Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Vancouver Rain Draft to Glory franchise mode here in MLB The Show 23. So in last episode, we had the draft, and it was a pretty solid draft for us for the most part. I'd say we definitely got good hits on all of our picks, but some of them are going to take a little bit longer to develop than others. As you can see, we got with our second overall pick, Gary McAllister, and I wasn't fully sold on him being a 73 and B potential at 23. But the fact that he has 89 potential makes me feel a little bit better, because if that B potential was like an 80, that wouldn't be that great, obviously. But if he could reach 89, that's still pretty solid. And he also has a really good stamina and whatnot. So this guy could be a very good pitcher in the sense that he could go very long into games. So excited to see what he could do. We also have Luis Guzman, so another closing pitcher I drafted. I might use this guy more as a setup guy. Not 100% sure, because we do have 3 closers now that we've drafted in the series. So there is a chance this guy might end up being a setup guy at the MLB level, or we might use one of the other guys as a setup guy. But regardless, another closing pitcher. And then here's one of the big projects, and that is Michael Chu, 43 overall at 18, but he has A potential, so he's going to take quite some time to develop, but hopefully he ends up making it to the majors at some point in his career, even if it's when he's like 28, 29. I just hope that he makes it as like even a bench player at some point, because it'd be kind of cool for him to get like a major league at bat eventually down the road, kind of similar to like that guy who plays for the Pittsburgh Pirates that I saw that's like 30 something years old, I think like 33, and he got his first hit after all these years. Like, it'd be kind of cool for this guy to be that type of player. And then we also got Josh Groves, an outfielder that we didn't have any information on when we scouted, but we drafted him, and he turns out to be pretty solid as well. Another kind of project player, but a little bit more reasonable than Chu, who's only a 43. So that was our draft, and then other teams had not that great of drafts. Most of them had... Some of them had like some okay steals and whatnot, like this Pena guy, for example, but some of them had like no steals whatsoever again. So at least it was a better draft than last year's draft, because last year's draft was probably the worst one we've seen so far. But anyways, before we get into simulating the rest of the season and seeing if Cardenas wins himself Rookie of the Year, and then getting through the entire offseason, I do have a couple comments to go over. So the first one is from Yo Blake. He says, "Got to keep Chu in single A for a couple seasons if you want him to have a chance at making it. So more than likely he will not be even in Double A next season to start off with. We'll probably wait till he's at least like in the 50, 60 overall range before we actually put him in Double A, because or else he'll really struggle. So yeah, that's probably what we'll end up doing with Chu." The next 2 comments are from Nick Bucker Barons OC. The first one says, "I feel good about telling you to look into the pitcher. I knew his floor would be incredibly high. The scouting that we did revealed no studs in the younger range, so the safe bet is grabbing the older pitcher. He is 1 year away from being a starting caliber guy, but I would give him 2 because you're in no rush. I'm sorry for my poor grammatical skills. My message needed to be worded in a more coherent way, so you do not have to struggle through each reading." Well, I kind of struggle through each reading regardless, because sometimes I'm recording this early in the morning. So, and then he says late round picks were solid, good job. So yeah, the first pick that we had, Gary McAllister, I probably will not add him to our 40-man just yet. I might wait 1 year with him in AAA, and then maybe he'll be almost into the MLB by that stage. Depends on how much growth he gets. But yeah, he isn't going to be jumping right to the MLB as fast as possible, because I obviously would rather have this guy develop a little bit more first before we actually get him in and throw him into some tough situations. Because more than likely, if we put him into the MLB right away, he'll end up losing a bunch of games. Now, Garth Howell will be in the MLB next year, right? Likely. So soon enough, we'll have 2 starting pitchers in our lineup, which is really cool. And then Nick also says, "I would recommend scouting a whole range of 30-plus pitchers with scouting position next year. I know you do not want to do it, but you will find so many good players later in the class that way. Those players will come in with a high level of interest too, making them easy signings." So yeah, I watched Tugi's stream, and basically what he did was he was scouting out specific positions for like the first 3 to 4 weeks, and then afterwards he was going after individual players and whatnot to scout them out a little bit more. So I think what we'll end up doing is we're going to spend the first 2 weeks of scouting on starting pitchers for next year's draft, and then we'll send the last 2 weeks of that on relievers, and then afterwards we could scout out individually and find out some more players, get that interest meter up on some guys that are later round picks, that type of thing. So basically we'll still have, like, I think another, I'd like to say like another 12 weeks of scouting and stuff like that after those 4 weeks. So I think that method might work out. We'll definitely try it next season just for something different, since we've been having a little bit of problems signing all of the players we've been drafting, because there was 3 players that didn't sign. So we definitely don't want that to happen every single year. And then to wrap up the comments, we have 2 more comments from It's Dawn. The first one says, "Not bad. I'd like our first pick to be in the 40-man because of his age and overall. The first base prospect needs at least 5 years of Double-A. This will give you time to see which position suits his skills the best while developing him. Let him come off the bench until he's ready to be a starter." So basically he's saying, in addition to Yo Blake's comment, he's saying to actually put him in Double-A but use him as a bench option instead of like a starting guy, and that might make more sense in a sense than having him in Single-A, because Single-A we'll never get to see his actual stats and stuff like that because Single-A isn't utilized in this game. So we might end up trying him in Double-A next season, but like as more of a bench option and not the starting first baseman. And the last comment from It's Dawn says, "We might have stunted Schneider's growth with the lineup situation. Just kidding. Although I would have kept him in Triple-A just because he has limited options left before he hits the majors. We need to let him see better competition and work through his struggles." So yeah, I totally agree with having him in Triple-A. I think what we're going to end up doing is calling him up to Triple-A, and I might use him as the third baseman and move Pip to first base, because Pip can actually play first base, and then both those guys could be in the lineup in Triple-A, and then Schneider gets a little bit better playing time. Now, since we made the lineup changes basically between the start of last episode and the draft, he has actually started to play a little bit better, which is good. As you can see, he's now up to his 217 average, 7 home runs, 23 RBIs, a 70 overall at 20. So it seems like he needs to be an everyday starter in order to be effective. But I am going to promote him to Triple-A here. And then we are going to go to our lineup. Let me actually just make sure we have enough players in double. We have to send somebody down to double, so I will do that. We will send down... We'll send down Daniels, I guess. Yeah, let's send down Daniels to double. There you go. Let me go to the lineup here quickly and just make sure he is in the right spot before we simulate the rest of this season. So we will take... we'll throw this guy in. I don't really care for crap about this guy because this guy's not somebody we drafted. Where is he again? Daniels. But yeah, I'm excited to see what kind of development we get the rest of the season. And hopefully the Triple-A team make some noise this year. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, obviously, but hopefully they're starting to get a little bit closer to doing that. We'll go here, and we will go with Schneider. Schneider, we're going to move over to third base, and we're going to move Pip over to first base, which means Sita, you're going to go back into the lineup. Schneider's going to go into the top 4. Basically that. Yeah, hopefully Schneider has some good stats in triple as well. Gotta make sure all these secondary positions are accurate. There we go. Man, it's so much like tedious stuff in MLB though to set up your lineup and whatnot, but it makes sense. As long as we have the right guys in the right spots, should be good. So that's good there. Pip needs to be first base. Yeah, I hope Schneider does really good in his time in triple, and hopefully it gets him a good amount of development for next year. Because, like I was saying, he and all the guys that we drafted in the first year will be in our lineup likely next season, just because of the minor league options scenario. So at least everybody other than that, that we drafted after that fact, has no issues whatsoever, because we didn't add them to our 40-man early on like we did with the first year class. So there we go. I think we are good. Yep, we're good. Let me actually move him up a little bit on this spot too. Okay, so Steve Schneider's in a pretty good spot. Hopefully he succeeds there in triple. They are 25 and 83, so they're actually doing worse in actually they're doing right around the same as our MLB team and our Double-A team. But there you go. Contract extensions. Do we want to give any of these extensions out just yet? Probably not. Actually, maybe I should give out a lot to these guys before we actually start simulating. As long as they're cheap. Let's just go 1 year, 800K. Add a few years. God damn, guys. Okay, never mind. I'm going to wait till the off-season on a lot of these, because they're also just going to add too much time to this episode. And I don't like these episodes being too long for you guys, so let's begin to sim up the September call-ups and see if Cardenas can continue what he's been doing in his rookie season. Damn, Gary Steiner's been injured again. Let's go auto on that. Let's go auto fix lineups. But yeah, Cardenas is getting really good results here in the MLB. Let me go to our lineup quickly because there's apparently a problem with our lineup. Which position are we missing? We got first base, second base, third base, left field, right field, center field, shortstop. This must be like a DH scenario, or what is this? Yeah, that's DH. I don't really care who's DH. Yeah, we'll just leave the rest of that the same. Perfect. But yeah, Cardenas will be up there potentially for the most hits in the MLB, because when I was looking before this episode, he was almost like leading the league in hits, which is crazy. Oh no. Oh no, that is not good. That is not good. Youngster Jeff Pipp has sustained an injury, shoulder cartilage damage, for 1 to 2 months. Well, that might set him back a little bit. That's not good. If he continues to get injured like that, then that's going to be a problem. That is going to be a major problem. Let's go auto on that. But I guess it's good that we called up Schneider, but still, oh man. Oh man, why does Pipp have to get injured with an injury like that? Why couldn't it be just like some no-name? Actually, let's go auto fix lineups on this. Yeah, let's go auto fix lineups on that. But yeah, hopefully Cardenas is win Rookie of the Year this year, unless he falls off a lot. Pipp is eligible to be reinstated. Let's just go auto on that. Pretty much just gonna go auto on this for most part. Pinheiro has now been injured with an inflamed hip. Damn, a lot of our guys are getting injuries down there, which is not great. Auto fix that. Okay, 31 and 108. Jeez. Let's take an updated look at some stats here. Get rid of these notifications because they always pop up right in your face. We still got a long off season ahead too to take a look at. Is AAA season done yet or not? Because did I? Oh wait, let's see. Did I go past the end of AAA season? I wanted to take a look at how they're doing. No, I have not. Okay, we're still in a great spot. Okay, so let's see. Let's go to the end of AA season, so we could take a look at player stats for the end of the AA season. Goddamn, I need to call up players. We are 5 roster players under. Let's not call up anybody I drafted. Let's call up just random players. Wait, that guy is somebody we drafted, right? No, I don't think I definitely did not draft that guy. We'll move him to the MLB. We're just going to move anybody that is players I didn't draft to the MLB, because I don't want to call up prospects that we drafted. We need 2 more players. We'll call up Rufus White as well. And then we'll call up Reggie Telshaw. There we go. That means I think some people need to move from double to triple. Okay. September call-ups. Yeah, we're not calling up any of those guys. But let's go to the end of the AA season, just so we could see how our AA players performed. There you go. And yeah, then we'll also take a look at AAA this season and see how their players are doing at the end of the year. That way we can get a best look at our prospects. So our AA team went 18 and 51. So not that great, but let's take a look at their stats so far. So let's go to AA. So Ollie Gelman batted a .230 this year, 6 home runs, 39 RBIs, up to a 61 at 20. That's not bad. Taking a little bit long to develop, but then again, he was a project player. 661 OPS and a 2.2 WAR. That's pretty solid. Good stuff, Ollie. Fletcher Hoffman, 9 home runs, 41 RBIs, Up to a 61 C potential at 20 as well. Not bad. He's probably not going to end up making the MLB. Well, it might take him a while to make the MLB, but still solid-ish season. Bill O'Donnell. Bill O'Donnell at 242. 10 home runs, 54 RBIs, not bad. Also up to a 60 at 20. So it looks like a lot of these guys are growing on the same kind of development path, which is good. George Pinheiro has been injured a couple times, but 3 home runs, 19 RBIs, 240 average, 59 at 19. Not bad. Yeah, it's not bad, I guess. Gary Steiner, 235 average is not great, but 59 at 19 as well. Looks like a lot of these guys are just growing on the exact same path right now, which is kind of funny. And then I think that's almost it. William Montero is another prospect I drafted. He had a 7-13 record, which is not bad considering the quality of this roster, but 4.14 ERA, 1.46 WHIP, a 1.9 WAR. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. He's getting closer to being ready for triple. Probably a few years away still, but and I think that's it for players I drafted, right? Kellenberger's one I drafted, right? Yeah, because he had deep potential, but I did draft him. He was one of our worst picks. He batted a 251. Not bad, I guess. Actually, really bad WAR though. So I think that's it for prospects I drafted in double. Let's get AAA finished. See how they wrap up their year. Obviously, all these teams aren't going to be making the playoffs, though, but there we go. So they finished 37 in 113. Let's take a look and see those AAA stats, because AAA is the bigger of the two teams in terms of prospects. So Giancarlo Sixto had a 240 average this year, 20 home runs, 57 RBIs. Not as strong of a season as his first year, but I mean, he's up to an 81, so he should probably be in the MLB roster next season. But yeah, there you go. Sixto, there is Garth Howe. Wow, Garth Howe had actually a really good year in triple. 9.14 record, which is not great, but a 3.08 ERA is really solid, and then a 1.24 WHIP is also solid. He's up to a 77 at 20. He will probably be in the MLB next season, which is great. So, yeah, 3.4 WAR. He had a really good year. That's good to see. Dennis Lake as a closer / setup guy, pretty solid. He was, I think, used more as a setup guy, but we'll probably end up using him as a closer at the MLB level. Pitt, before his injury, was doing really solid. 9 home runs, 29 RBIs, so not the best stat line, but a 271 average is pretty good. It's just that injury is very concerning. Hopefully he doesn't suffer anything like that again. But yeah, he was doing pretty solid down there. Steve Schneider in AAA, since we promoted him. 6 home runs, 11 RBIs in 117 at-bats. It's pretty good. And it's pretty good at 231 average. How much WAR? 0.1 WAR, not bad. Yeah, he might be in the MLB. Well, he'll be in the MLB probably regardless next season, but he should be developing quite nicely over the next few years, I think. He's probably not going to end up being the highest overall B potential guy, but he still might be pretty solid. Ken Robert, not bad, I guess. I don't know if he was getting used as a closer. It doesn't look like it. His whip's pretty good, but his ERA is pretty high. And I think that's almost it for AAA prospects, if I remember right. Yeah, that's it for prospects, I think. So let's go back to MLB and get the last of our season done. We have 2 series left, one against the Dodgers and one against the Astros. We'll go auto-utilize on that because that's just AAA. And we finished 37 in 125. So not that great of a year, but I think that might be our best season yet. But let's take a look at our player stats in the MLB. See who did well. Actually, it already promoted Garth Howe and stuff. So let's actually go. We actually have an award winner, so it must be the Rookie of the Year. And we also have a league leader too, which is cool. Let's go to statistics instead and look at our team here. So Ozzy Cardenas batted a 326 in his first season. 16 home runs, 65 RBIs. I think we should probably up his potential. He's up to a 76 overall now at 20. I think we should up his potential. Let me know what you guys think, because I don't really up players' potentials, but should we up him to like being at least like an 80 overall B potential guy? Because that's an incredible rookie season. He definitely won the Rookie of the Year in our league, more than likely. Maybe that's probably our award winner. So he had a really good season. That's the only guy we care about in the MLB, because everybody else was playing in triple and whatnot. But man, what a year for him. What a year. 19 stolen bases. What else we got here? Drew 60 walks. Pretty good. Wow. Yeah, I'm really excited for Cardenas. This guy is a monster contact hitter. Like a 326 average is definitely really good, because even a 250 would have been fine for me, but like a 326 in your rookie season, crazy. Let's look at league leaders to see where he finished. He finished first in batting average, first in hits. Did he win a batting title in his rookie season? He tied with Julio Rodriguez, who's a 99 overall. That is insane. So he's first in batting average, and look, first in hits by a long shot, by almost 10 hits. That's outrageous. Ozzy Cardenas already turning into a channel legend for the series, but man, what a year for him. Came out of nowhere. I don't even remember what pick he was overall wise in our first draft that we had. I actually got to take a look at that, because I do have my spreadsheet. Let me open that up, see where we drafted him, because I honestly don't remember. He was, wow, he was a third round pick, 77th overall in the first year draft. What a steal he was. Let's see what awards he won. So Burl Dixon, the manager won, or not the manager, what the heck, from manager, that's what it says on me. Burl Dixon, the right fielder, who we didn't even draft, won the Golden Glove for right fielders, it's just funny. Yep, Ozzy Cardenas, AL Rookie of the Year, and he also won the batting title. Yeah, I think he definitely deserves a promotion after that. Let's go. Let me just skim through award winners. This might be a really long episode, because we do have the offseason still to get through. But holy, what a year for him. So let's go through the AL awards first. So MVP, Aaron Judge. I don't really care about all these other awards, but there you go. Batting title to Cardenas. He beats out Julio Rodriguez, which is funny considering Julio Rodriguez, I think, should probably get it just based on the home runs and RBIs. But, I mean, Cardenas did this all his first season, so they gave it to him. And then, yeah, he beats out Simeon Woods Richardson and Cole Roederer for Rookie of the Year. Let's go, Cardenas. I am impressed with the kid for sure. I think he definitely deserves to be promoted to at least a B potential. And then, yeah, I never drafted this guy, but this guy won a Golden Glove for right fielders, so that's kind of funny, considering how bad our team is. So there we go on all that. Let's take a look at the NL as well. Not that I really care about the NL, but I'll just skim through this. And we'll see who ends up winning the World Series this year. But man, that's a really good sign for our future of our team here. Having a guy win Rookie of the Year, obviously, is really great. But to win the batting title in your rookie year, that is almost unheard of, I think. Okay, so that is that. Let's sim to the offseason and see who ends up winning the World Series this year. It is going to be the Padres beating the Blue Jays. Didn't the Blue Jays win last year in our sim? I feel like they did. I'm not 100% sure on that. Okay, so let me actually stop the thing and take a look at the awards for that World Series matchup. So Juan Soto won the World Series MVP. And then, what else was it? Postseason MVP, yeah, Soto was there again. And then it was Luis Gonzalez. Yeah, I think the Blue Jays must have won the World Series recently. Yeah, that was a couple years ago. Last year was Baltimore that won. Okay, so there we go. Let's continue to simulate to the offseason. And our contracts with our pitching coach, first base, and third base have ended. Okay, so we need to get some of our coaches back. Retired player-wise, we do lose one guy, but it's somebody I never drafted. This Drowan guy retires at 28. And I don't really care about the rest of the league. Clayton Kershaw, though, has made it to the Hall of Fame this year in 2026. With the Padres, who just won the World Series, which is funny. Okay, so yeah, we need a couple coaches. First, third, and pitching coach. Okay, let's get those. Let's find some kind of lower-end ones that people aren't paying as much attention to. This guy's only 37. I think he'd be perfect for a pitching coach. Let's talk him up to $4 million. Looks like he might accept that. We also need a first and a third base coach. Let's go down here. Try and find a nice steal here. 54 years old is not bad. Mr. Chris Hook. Talk him up a little bit. We'll try and get as good of coaches as possible, because since we're trying to get youngsters into our lineup now, might as well get as much good coaches as possible for them. Tommy Lasorda, let's get you in. There we go. Perfect. Should be able to get all those guys because most of them have full interest, so that's good there. Let's sim to first free agent pool thing. There's one of the coaches, there's the other one, and there's the other one. Perfect. We got all the coaches we wanted. I think we are good to head to free agency 1, right? Yep. Perfect. Okay, let's go to... Man, we have so much pop-ups to do with. Let's start off with tendered contracts. Sixto, 1 year at 120K. Or should I... Actually, you can only give him a 1-year deal. So I guess I'll give you 140K. You'll probably accept that. I'll pretty much prioritize all the guys we draft always first, but then we'll come back to the other guys afterwards. I am really excited for the future of this team. We're starting to build up a pretty good core of players, I think. And like with Gardenius breaking out as much as he has, it's been great. Like, I wish his potential would just jump up on its own, but we'll probably have to do that on our own. Gary Steiner's another prospect I drafted. Pinheiro. Hopefully we don't have any injury trouble with a lot of the guys we draft. Okay, Montero. And I think that's almost it for prospects I drafted. Kallenberger's definitely one I drafted though too, even though he's deep potential. He's definitely our worst pick ever so far, but that's okay. Because we're not going to hit on every single one of our picks. Damn, we have so much players to sign here. Yeah, let's get the rest of these guys signed up. I'm not trying to lose anybody, really, just because might as well keep as much of this roster together as possible at the moment. I don't know who's going to be in the MLB. Damn, this guy wants a lot of term. Let's just go to 1 year at 650. We should be able to afford all these players because we still have like a lot of guys that we never drafted. So once we get to the point though where we have a lot of players we drafted, it's going to start to get a little bit expensive probably, but eventually I'm going to need your guys' input, like I always say in the off season, for what we should be doing in terms of long-term deals with some of these guys. Like Gardenius, for example, I feel like we should definitely be locking him up as soon as possible for a number of years based on him winning a batting title already, because who knows, maybe he'll be up there for the batting title almost every single year at this point. But we definitely need to up his potential as well first, because or else he might retire youngish. Not super young, but he might start to regress for faster than everybody else on our roster. So many players assigned, jeez. I know I always complain about this every offseason, but it's literally true. Like, you literally sign like 20 plus players per league. So, like, I'm not used to signing this much players. Like, NHL wise, you're always just signing like almost like, yeah, you have like an 18 team roster and whatnot. Like, this is way smaller, or way bigger, I should say. Okay, a couple more guys to go. Yeah, we're gonna have all the cap space in the world still after this off season. It's once we get to like arbitration years with some of these guys that we're gonna have to give some of them good money. So, but with all the guys coming into our MLB team next season, it's going to be probably an interesting year ahead. Like, I don't know what guys like Schneider and stuff do in their rookie seasons. Probably not rookie of the year candidates. Maybe Gareth Howe would be up there for Rookie of the Year next year. Unless he has a really bad year, which he might because our team's not as good in front of him. But we literally might have just a bunch of players that just play in the MLB and they won't win Rookie of the Year. But they'll get some valuable experience, get some growth, that type of thing. Boom on that. We're almost there, I think, on getting all these guys back. Jeez. Eventually we'll have not as much to deal with probably. But since it's a draft to glory team, that's going to take a while before we actually get to that stage. We've spent $10 million and we still have like over $100 million in available budget. That's hilarious. But who do you guys think should be our first major long-term signing? I'd say probably Cardenas based on that first season, but I don't really know what we should be giving him in the same stage. So let's give you 760. We already gave Robert a deal. Just Weems left. Let's go down to 620K. Perfect. Perfect. All those guys are good. Arbitration eligible. These guys are all arbitration eligible. 1.8. Jeez, why are some of these guys wanting 1.8? Just because they're everyday MLB players. I should probably still sign a lot of them up. I'm going to sign at least these cheap ones up for sure. 810K. 1 year. We'll go to 780K or 820K. I don't really care. Just want to get as much of the roster back as possible. Just because or else we're going to have to sign a bunch of players in free agency. 780K. We'll try and get you to 830K. Why not? I don't care. We have the money. Might as well give some of these guys some money. Because where else are they going to make it? 940K. Dillard. 1 year as well. 900K. Parsons. 1 year. 870K. Ben Gelman, not our Gelman. Wow, he wants over $1 million. That's okay with me though. If you're an everyday player right now still at this rate, sure, $1 million. Will Dalton, 780K plus. Okay. Holy contracts. I don't even know what to talk about during this type of stage at all. 1 year at 980K should get it done. Castillo, 1 year, we'll give you over $1 million. Why not? Because we're going to need those pitchers regardless because we don't have enough pitchers drafted at this stage. Glenn Hill, we'll do 1 year as well, and he wants $2 million. Sure. I don't really care if I'm giving him $2 million because we have the cap space. 1 year at 1.1. All those guys should hypothetically accept, and then we have still a ton of budget available, which is good. Selecting our 40-man roster, I am going to add Giancarlo Sixto already to our 40-man roster. He will be on our MLB team next season, I think, because he's ready to make that jump. Who else? Who's not on our 40-man roster? We have currently 37 players on our 40-man roster here. I don't think there's anybody else worth adding to our 40-man. There's an argument for adding Gary McAllister there yet, but I'm going to probably wait for a little bit on him, maybe 1 year, and then he'll be ready. Other than that, I don't think there's anybody else I'm going to add to our 40-man. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, let's sim to free agency 2. We should be getting some accepts here soon. I am not accepting any trades. We do not make trades in the series, not yet. We probably won't ever make trades in the series just because it's a draft of glory. Sure, let's stop the simulation. We might end up losing some players to the Rule 5. I don't know for sure, though. Castillo still hasn't accepted, but he probably will accept soon, more than likely. And then all the contracts are dealt with. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Okay, so that is done with. Let's continue getting through this off season. A little bit of a longer episode today, but that's okay. Let's go no on that. These off-season episodes are probably the more boring episodes of the series. I always like the draft episodes, but setting up the team for the future success is always good too, because once we start actually having to give out contracts to like Sixto and stuff like that, then it's going to actually start to matter a little bit. But at this stage, it doesn't matter too much. Rule 5 draft is the only thing interesting really about the off season. I don't really know if we're going to take anybody in it though. Let's see what there is. What does it recommend us? A 75 overall right fielder. Burl Dixon already won it last year, so we don't technically need a good right fielder right now. 24 years old, B potential and catcher. Jefferson Cuero. That is a good pick, I think. Let me go to catchers actually first. so we can see that depth chart. Like, he's not going to be a super high overall guy, but he's already a second best catcher on the team. And we don't have a catcher that we've drafted yet. So, yeah, let's take this Jefferson Cuero guy. I think it's just perfect for us just to get ourselves another catcher in that's younger. And we'll skip the rest of this because we do not care about drafting any more players in this. I usually only take one player in the Rule 5, so there we go. Let's sim up to arbitration hearings. Not that we have any anyways, but might as well. Yeah, okay. Almost up to spring training, which is good. And then we can see what we're working with. That's good. Sim to renewable contracts. We don't have any contracts to renew. Let's sim to spring training. And no. Okay, we are at the start of spring training. Let's take a look at what we have here going into the season. So let's take a look first at each roster here. So AA, Gary McAllister in AA. I might put him already in AAA, to be honest, because I feel like he might be good for AA, but it might be good for him to get a little bit of taste still of AA action. So I'll let you guys tell me where we should do with that. Hoffman and Pinheiro and Steiner still in AA makes sense. Montero in double still makes sense. Kellenberger in double obviously makes sense. Michael Chu, that's one that you guys were saying we should probably have him in single A. Some of you guys were saying using him as a bench option in double. I don't really know. I think I'm going to promote him for now to single A, or class A I should say. But if we should put him into double, let me know, because I could always do that next episode. Guzman's also in double, forgot to mention him. And then AAA wise, Dennis Lake, Jeff Pipp, Robert, and there's probably a couple other guys that are going to be down there in AAA, but they're currently on our MLB roster, I think. But yeah, likely Sixto, Howe, both play, and then Cardenas obviously still going to be back in the MLB. Steve Schneider obviously would, just because of his minor league options used. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting season. Also, Ollie Gelman technically has used all his options, so do we rush him into the lineup, or do we put him on the waivers? Because I think he'd go on waivers if we have to send him down. Same with like guys like Bill O'Donnell. I don't want those guys really in the lineup already, but they'd probably get claimed if we put them on waivers since they have potential. So that is a little bit of a risk. So that is that. Final thing before we end this episode, let's take a look at the top prospects in the MLB. Garth Howe is now the #1 prospect in baseball. There we go. Excited to see what he does in his rookie year. Hopefully he has a good year ahead of him. Giancarlo Sixto is now the #3 prospect. This Rangers prospect is in between them. He's definitely a long ways out, but still he's the #2 prospect. Sixto is #3. Sixto should have a really good rookie year, maybe even win Rookie of the Year this year. Who knows? Then we have Ollie Gelman at #8. Not too bad. Dennis Lake at #12. Jeff Pipp at #18. Gary Steiner at #20. Gary McAllister makes his debut at #27. And I think that's almost it. Pinheiro at #40. And that's it. So we had how much prospects in the top 50? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 prospects in the top 50. That's awesome. Let's also finally end this on the depth chart, just because I want to see what players are looking like in the future, potentially up to 2031. Garth Howe might be up to like a 97 by that rate, which is crazy. And Sixto might be like a 98 if they develop well enough. Cardenas might be a 78. So the last thing, do we give Cardenas a potential upgrade because of that season? I'd say we definitely probably should. But where do we put it? Because that was an incredible rookie season. He still has C potential only. So I think we definitely should probably up him to a B potential at least. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Vancouver Rain Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will start up the regular season. We'll simulate up to the draft and do our scouting in a new way and see if we can find some good prospects for the upcoming draft. And yeah, hopefully we continue to add to our depth chart, and hopefully this team starts to win a lot more games with the amount of youth starting to get into our lineup. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.